son of a bitch.
Groovy.
Hey everybody, this is Matthew Movies Comments with my review of It Comes at Night, the 2017 horror film that I think is just very, very well told. It does exactly what it wants to do. This movie is its own thing right off the hop. That's the first thing I'm going to tell you about it. For those of you who haven't seen this movie, essentially it starts off with you're dropped into this world of this family that has completely cordoned themselves off from the outside world. They've boarded up the windows. There's basically one exit and entrance in the entire home, and they've done this because you find out that there is some kind of disease that's taken over, and if you get it, you are going to die. And so they are trying to protect themselves from this horrible ailment that could come and take any of them at any given moment. And so throughout the rest of the film, you see everything kind of play out. And the one thing that I think really stands out is how deliberate this movie is, because nothing at all is done quickly, and I also don't think things are done overly slowly either. I mean, this is not a movie I would describe as being fast-paced or plotting. It is right in the middle. It is right in that sweet spot, and because of that, there's lots of moments that are kind of drawn out slightly. But if you are the type of person who is patient with a film whatsoever, it is extremely great that they did that, because what it does is it makes you really relate to the characters, and it gives you that extra few seconds to kind of live in their world and see that they're considering their actions, considering what they're going to say. And the fact that they have to do that in almost every regard is just perfect, because you understand the stakes of this film. And that's one of the things that they do so great in this movie. Right off the hop, you get introduced to the grandfather of this family, the father, the wife in the family's father, and you find out that he is sick, and you see what it's done to him, how he's been absolutely ravaged by it. And it's not only just the fact that he died, but he died in a horrible fashion. And you understand what they do is they take him outside and they bury him, and then they light him on fire, because burying him isn't enough. They need to make sure that all remnants of this disease are eradicated in their immediate surroundings, because if they get this disease, it is over. There is no fighting it. They're not going to be able to go down to the doctor and get something injected and be perfectly fine. If you catch it, you are done, and you're not just done. You are going to be in a bad way. So throughout the rest of the movie, that sets up the stakes, and you understand why some of these characters will do the things that they do, and the degree to which they need to protect themselves and protect their loved ones. Just set up right off the hop. And this movie is led by Joel Edgerton, who I think is just such a talented actor, and a guy who, anytime he's in a movie, it just piques my interest, because I think he is just such a great actor. And when you see him on film, it feels real. Like he doesn't do things to be flashy. He doesn't, he's not giving over the top kind of performances. He acts in a way that you completely understand who his character is. And I thought that was such a key part of this movie, because he is the guy who you kind of live throughout most of the film in his shoes, and you have to be able to understand the things he does. And as the film progresses, he definitely takes some stands and does some things that you can kind of question. I mean, there are times where he's really harsh on his son, but you understand, because of his performance and the writing and the stakes that have been set up, that he's doing it because he loves his son, and he's willing to be that jerk. He even says at one point, I'm willing to be that guy, and that's not the exact line, but that's essentially what he's getting at. If you make me, I'm going to be that guy. That's what I have to do to protect you. I mean, he's great in this movie. Then you have his wife, who, I will say this, I feel like the wife of all the characters is probably the least effective, and I think it's because she's kind of underwritten. There are moments later on in the film where she might be almost the character that you care about the most, and in that regard, I thought that they did a good job in there. But I feel like if they had set her up a little bit better in the earlier aspects of this film, more than kind of just being maybe along for the ride more than anything else early on. Like obviously, her and Joel Edgerton's character have conversations and they figure stuff out kind of together. But if she was taking a little bit more of a leadership role, you would have cared about her a tiny bit more. But at the same regard, you know, things work out in the end where you care about her vantage point to a large degree, because she is kind of the almost seen as maybe a bit of the outsider. So maybe that was a little bit intentional, where she's kind of the one observing everything. So when she feels the way she does and does when she gets involved, it's kind of like, oh wow, ooh, wow, she's good. Gonna do that, and that was great. And then they introduced this couple and their son partway through the film, where basically this guy manages to kind of get in the house, and at first they're trying to keep him off, and they don't know if he's sick or whatever, but after lasting a little while, they come to realize he's probably not sick, and they decide, you know, maybe having another group of people there that it will help them protect this home might be a good idea. So they bring them in, and I thought both of those characters were very well written. I mean, neither of them are super famous. Riley Keough, or whatever, how you pronounce her last name. She's the mother in this trio, and I thought that they were all well handled. But to me, I mean, other than Joel Edgerton, I think the most interesting character is Joel Edgerton's son. He's of everybody, you know, it's interesting because he is, you know, he's becoming basically an adult throughout this movie. He's at that stage in life where you're not quite a man, you're not a boy, you're kind of that in between, and it's really interesting too, because there's these moments where he's interacting with Riley Keough's character, where you kind of feel like, you know, he's attracted to her, and you kind of feel for him, because it takes you out of the movie to the degree, but it also really puts you into the movie. And by that, what I mean is basically there's a moment there where you're kind of considering what this world means for him. You're not necessarily looking at what exactly is happening in front of you, but the idea that, you know, he doesn't have anybody to be attracted to in his world. His world has just been him and his parents, and he's kind of just cordoned off his entire life. And the rites of passage that all of us go through when we're first getting into a relationship, that's all been kind of torn away from him, and it makes you really kind of consider what that would mean for him, and make that it might stunt his growth, and at the same time make him want to you know, advance quicker than maybe he should, and kind of make decisions for his parents and not listen to his parent. And throughout the rest of the film, it kind of informs who he is as a character in a way that I think is really, really interesting. But at the same time, there's also moments where you see that he is definitely more innocent, where he doesn't think things through necessarily as much as he should, and he doesn't realize that there might be serious repercussions to something that's just happening. He just kind of fawns over it, or looks past it, and so the way the character is written, where he's kind of straddling both worlds, I think was just great. At the end of the day, I think this movie is just bloody brilliant. I mean, that's the best way I can say it. I will say this: if you have only seen the trailers for this movie and don't know what it's about, the title of this movie is freaking misleading. No, it doesn't. There is no it that comes at night. That's not a thing. That's not what this movie is. So if you're expecting that, you might be disappointed. So don't go into it expecting that. That is not what this movie is. But it's freaking great. So those are my thoughts on It Comes at Night. Let me know in the comment section below what you think, if you've seen it, if you're interested, whatever. Other than that, please hit that like button, hit that share button. It makes it much more likely that other people will come check out this review and let me know what they think, which would be awesome, because I love talking to people about movies, and I'd love anybody who would come and do that. Speaking of which, if you are one of those people who are new here, or you just haven't done it yet, please hit subscribe, hit that notification bell. I love movies, guys, and I'd love you to be somebody that could come back, watch my subsequent videos, and let me know what they think. It'll be great. Other than that, have yourself a good day. Good day.